The lesson from the Apostle Peter through the passage 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 to 4, opens up a profound and practical vision of the role of spiritual leaders, especially shepherds in the Christian community. Here, Peter not only provides specific instructions, but also conveys the heart, experience, and sincerity of someone who has gone through trials, stumbled, and been restored by Jesus Christ himself. These words are not only for pastors and elders, but also a valuable lesson for anyone holding a leadership role, guiding others in faith or in life. Imagine the context at that time. The first church was facing many challenges: persecution, internal conflicts, dangers from false teachings, and pressure from outside society. The shepherd was not only a teacher, but also a support, an inspiration, and a role model for the entire community. At that time, the power and authority of the leader were easily abused or became targets of personal ambition. But Peter, with a sincere heart and deep understanding of human nature, pointed out a different path: leadership by example, not by power. He wrote, "To the elders among you I exhort, I who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that will be revealed. Kutu, shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly. 3, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock. 4, and when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory." Lessons from the Apostle Peter. Shepherding by example, not by authority. The Apostle Peter, as a fellow elder and a witness to the sufferings of Christ, entrusted heartfelt and practical advice to church leaders. The passage 1 Peter 5:1-4 is not only a guideline for ministry, but also a declaration of the shepherd's heart. For Protestant theology, which emphasizes servant leadership and the autonomy of the congregation, these teachings are fundamental in shaping a leadership model committed to life and death, wholeheartedly caring for, protecting, tending, and loving the flock. Context: advice from a shepherd to the shepherds. Peter does not write from a position of superiority, issuing commands, but as an elder advising the elders. Verse 1. He places himself on equal footing with them, creating deep empathy. He calls them to fulfill the sacred shepherding ministry entrusted by God. Lesson on the leadership example of the shepherd. 1. The origin of the position: the flock belongs to God, not the shepherd. Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, serving as overseers. Osas on. Verse 2-a. The starting point and also the most important principle is the recognition that the flock belongs to God. The leader is not the owner, but a steward entrusted with responsibility. This perspective in Protestant theology helps leaders have the right attitude. They are not building a kingdom for themselves, but caring for the precious inheritance of the Lord. The concern, protection, and care do not come from a desire to possess, but from the responsibility of a faithful steward to his master. The heart that is willing to live and die with the flock originates from the fear of the Lord, the owner of the flock. 2. The motivation for service. Niisu, voluntary and enthusiastic, not forced or self-interested, not by compulsion but willingly, as God wants you to do, not for dishonest gain but eagerly serving. Verse 2b. Peter draws a clear line between a true shepherd and a hired hand. The heart of a leader must be driven by voluntariness. Loving and caring for the flock is a joy, a privilege, not a burden or an obligation to be completed. Enthusiasm, serving with zeal and eagerness, not for material gain or lowly status. A leader who is committed to life and death with the church will find joy in serving. They protect the flock from those who come only for dishonest gain and care for them with selfless, uncalculating love. 3. Leadership method: being a bright example, not authoritarian rule. Not to be masters over those entrusted to them, but to be examples to the whole flock. Verse 3. This is the core of the lesson and a golden principle in Protestant institutions. True leadership does not come from imposing power, giving orders, or authoritarian rule. True leadership comes from the example of life. The leader must embody what they teach. Care, they must be people who care for others first. Protect. Their holy life and courage are a shield protecting the flock from false influences. Nurture. Their humility and compassion are the most effective ways to care. Love. Their love must be seen through concrete acts of service. The leader leads by going first and saying, "Follow me as I follow Christ." Their example is the most vivid and convincing sermon. 4. The reward of the faithful, the crown of eternal glory. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. Verse 4. What enables a leader to commit to life and death, to serve voluntarily, and to be a shining example amid many difficulties? It is the hope of an eternal reward from the leader of the shepherds, Christ. The ultimate and most precious recognition does not come from people, but from the Lord. This hope frees the leader from the need for praise, recognition, or reward in this life. It allows them to love and serve unconditionally because they know that their suffering in the Lord is never in vain. Summary. Based on 1 Peter 5:1-4, the example of a servant leader committed to life and death with the flock is shaped by 4 main pillars. 1. Stewardship. Identity. Always remember that the flock belongs to the Lord, and you are the trusted one entrusted to care for them. 2. Pure heart. Serve with a sincere motive, arising from voluntary willingness and passionate love for the Lord and the congregation. 3. Exemplary method. Lead not by ruling, but by living a model life of humility, love, and service for the flock to follow. 4. Eternal vision. Place hope in the eternal reward from Christ, which creates the strength to serve faithfully and sacrificially. Such a leader is not just a manager or a speaker, but truly a shepherd in the image of Christ, who can confidently say, "My life and death are for the benefit of the flock that God has entrusted to me."